All right, welcome to the Sports Guys. Another NFL recap. This is on Veterans Day. Just want to call out to all the veterans out there. Thank you for your service, all the families that support them, everybody who gave their lives for us, for our freedom. How you doing, Robbie?
Doing great. Really appreciate all the veterans. That's a big one today. We really do live in a country they keep free, and we owe them a lot. So doing well. Really having a great day. My family got to come visit me at work today. That's always cool. The
I saw
boys
the
get to
pictures.
sit in your
That was cool.
chair.
Yep.
That was the big highlight of my day, and a lot of great football this weekend. A lot of good sports and all kinds of stuff going on. So good stuff.
Absolutely. So the theme for tonight is defenses and running backs, and we've talked a lot about the way you win championships, the way that you get the number one seed, the way you make the playoffs is you have to have a defense, you have to have a running back, or at least some kind of running game, and we're seeing that more and more. The team's actually separating more and more between the ones that have a defense and a running back and the ones that do not. So, any thoughts about that? I mean, you're seeing in some cases broken offenses, and yet the teams are still winning because they have great defenses. So.
You know what it is? My theory on why I floated it by you this morning when we were in the car,
Hmm.
talking to each other. I'm pretty sure that what's happened is there's such a premium on offense over the last 15 years where they turned to throwing the ball on every play.
Hmm.
West Coast really took hold in last 20 years or so. The quarterback became so important to the team, etc. They were throwing on every down. What happened was quarterback whisperers and offensive coordinators started to catapult themselves into head coaching jobs.
Hmm.
And defensive coaches were getting some looks and they were failing pretty miserably because
Hmm.
they ended up having offenses that were anemic, like the Steelers every year. And somehow, unless you're an owner like the Steelers have, and you're willing to stay with Tomlin, most teams weren't willing to accept that. So basically,
Hmm.
what I'm trying to say is defensive coordinators have been slow to be getting a lot of looks lately, and
Hmm.
offensive coordinators are all shooting up the ladder and they're all in charge of the team. So what happens is you get these young gun offensive coordinators like Shanahan, like McDaniel, all these guys who are really competent in offense, um, but they don't really know how to run the team. And it takes something different to be a head coach where you can sort of manage all these pieces. Um, because so what's happening is a lot of teams are they have these young gun offense coordinators, but what's the knock on Shanahan? He doesn't care at all about special teams. Like
Hmm.
that's been very well documented. Um, and a lot of these, offense coordinators like McDaniel, their defenses are terrible.
Hmm.
So what you have is a bunch of good defensive coordinators out there not getting head coaching jobs. The offensive coordinators out there have moved their way up, and so they can be less involved with the offense
Hmm.
on a day-to-day X's and O's. So what's happening is the defenses are starting to dominate because the best coaches are either head coach where they have to look at
Hmm.
the whole umbrella. They're making decisions about catering,
Hmm.
jersey colors. I mean, they're a CEO basically.
I think you're
And
onto something here. I really do. I
yeah,
think if you think about where you have Andy Reid and Spagnola, that's like the perfect partnership.
it
You
is.
got
It is.
Spagnola's not
Because
interested in the head
because
coaching job.
exactly.
Hmm.
Spagnola is happy being a defense coordinator. But most of these other defensive coordinators feel kind of cheated,
Hmm.
right? And so you got, Minnesota, on and on. There's a bunch of defensive coordinators out there who are excellent, who are in with head coach who's one of these young guns, O'Donnell. He's one of them. He's one of these offensive gurus. There's a lot of them. And so they have to get these incredible defensive coordinators. And what's happening is defenses are really doing well against offenses this year because
Hmm.
so many offensive coordinators that were geniuses and they could just be in the lab doing all
Hmm.
this, they have to be head coaches. And it's just very time consuming to be a head coach and you
Mhm.
can't just be drawing up plays and working on different schemes all the time.
I
So
have some other theories. I think the season's very long and it goes through phases where you get like the beginning of the year, the first 2 weeks, the
yeah,
defenses are definitely ahead of the offenses. The offenses don't have the timing yet. Then you'll have like 4 or 5 weeks there where the offenses kind of creep ahead of the defenses. You see really high scores.
no
And then
question.
you get Brian Flores and you get Spagnuolo and you get these really good DCs that
Yeah,
get all this tape on a guy, especially a new player. They get all this tape on a guy and they figure out a way to stop him. That's what they've done with Saquon Barkley this year. They've done it already with Bijan Robinson this year. He had an incredible first 6 games, and now he can't get more than 50 yards a game. What happens is the film study is so sophisticated. They spend every
yeah.
day, all day long, breaking down film, and they figure these guys out so quickly. It's
But
happened to Virginia's offense in college. They're
yeah, but
figured out.
that's what I'm talking about. The defensive coordinators are not getting their opportunities, so they are taking the time to just hone their craft, become the best defense coordinators possible.
Hmm.
I mean, look at what is happening both at the college and pro levels. You have Matt Patricia at Ohio
Hmm.
State. You've got, you know, Brian Dable, who's an awesome offensive coordinator,
Hmm.
becomes the head coach and flames out. Like a lot of these offensive coaches are struggling because
Hmm.
managing the whole team is a lot different than putting plays together and all that.
And then
So
you also have mash unit situations where teams are losing their whole offensive lines. The Commanders the other day started 1 out of their 5 starters from the beginning of the season on offensive line, and they're
true.
wondering
However, hold
why they
hold
have
on a
no
second.
running game. You know,
Usually defenses take more of a beating than the offense
usually,
because they're responding to a moving target and therefore they're more prone to getting hit in an awkward manner. Usually the meat grinder starts with the defenses first.
but look how the Chargers look without Joe Alton. Look how they look with him.
Oh, no question.
Look how the Lions look with Penny. So how they look without him. So
No question.
the Commanders didn't even have a chance to run the ball when they have all backups in essentially. So
Yeah.
I think that that's part of it. I think the defenses are feasting right now because I think a lot of the offensive lines are beat up for the good
Well, what
teams.
I would say is it's a little different than that. If you have a hurt offensive line, you need to run the ball because
Yeah, but a lot
if
of
you
them
do
can't.
5-step drop plays, your
I know.
quarterback's going to get
I know.
absolutely killed.
What they're finding though is that then when they have that situation, they just stack the box. That's what they do. So
That's
I
fine.
don't
Then
know.
then you do a little play action and you know, but
It's a
anyway,
tough
it
situation right now because
it
the teams like the Colts, who have a running back who's going to set every single record this year,
yeah,
they have a great offensive line and they're opening humongous Mack truck holes for this guy. And he's already a great back anyway.
it's not
Oh,
just the holes though. He's running on a level I've seen maybe 5 times before or something. Like
mhm. Yeah.
Saquon last year, um, I literally would have to think about it, but probably I've seen it maybe 5 times in my life where someone was that unstoppable. Eric Dickerson one year, um,
Saquon broke all the
Barry
records
Sanders.
last year. He broke all the records last year. In some ways, he might have been the MVP last year, but he wasn't given it.
Yeah.
And
Oh, he
now,
absolutely he deserved it way more than Josh
yeah,
Allen.
me too. I
I
think
mean, it
so.
wasn't even close.
And now Jonathan Allen is going to pass all of his numbers from last year, either next week or the week after. And he's going to have like 6 games left. Like he's just blowing his numbers out of the
Jonathan
water.
Taylor.
Yeah, Jonathan Taylor
Yeah.
is blowing Saquon's numbers out of the water. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
He's
amazing
the
to watch.
MVP. He's the MVP of the league.
I think so. That's who I'd vote for.
Unless he gets hurt, he should win it. I mean,
Let's go ahead and dive into the games. Here we go.
do it.
All right, let's do a shout out to our sponsor for tonight. That is Jersey Mike's. We absolutely love Jersey Mike's as a family. We go all the time. I went twice this weekend, as a matter of fact. How you doing, Robbie?
Doing great. Yeah, Jersey Mike's is the best. We do our weekend ritual usually after baseball or basketball, and we sometimes do a second time that week. Helps us not cook, has great ingredients. The family loves it. They're not super picky, but a little picky sometimes, and they love Jersey Mike's. And it's just such an easy call.
We always talk about my favorite was always the number 13, which is the original Italian. Yours was the number 17, the steak
Yeah,
and cheese. I've come to like the 17 so much, I can't really decide between the two. So I kind of go back and forth. But
yeah.
it's just so fresh. The people are so friendly. They're literally so convenient. They're everywhere. And highly encourage you guys to go check out a Jersey Mike's in your location tonight, or go to jerseymikes.com or download their app. You can order a sandwich. You can use Uber Eats. A lot of different ways you can try it tonight, but definitely take your family there. You'll really enjoy it.
It's a sub above.
Sub above. Have a good night. All right, so we're calling this NFL recap defenses and running backs. Some great pictures here, Robbie. You love this one on the top left there. That's a Shane, who actually
Mm,
just tore up the Bills defense. I mean, it was
love it.
unbelievable. Over 240 yards, 2 touchdowns. What a game he had. And it goes to the theory that why aren't the Dolphins doing this every week? Why have they had a Shane on the shelf this whole time?
I've stopped screaming about it because it was about 3 years in a
Yeah.
row, and it was the same thing I
And
was
they
saying,
finally
and
gave
I
it
just
to
stopped.
him, 25 times, and look what he did. So the
Yeah, and he also received the ball. Like he's just
yeah.
such a weapon. When you get your best players the ball,
Hmm.
you can beat teams that are good. Like you
That's
can
right.
consistently have excellence. And the Dolphins have no excuse. It's just been terrible coaching.
Mm-hmm. That's right. So I was really happy to see him get off the schneid. And first of all,
Yeah,
I had
me
him
too.
on one of my fantasy teams, so that was great.
Yeah.
So the picture below that, you had this was painful for Dolphins fans. That's Jalen Phillips, who had just an absolute game wrecker game for
Yeah.
Philadelphia with a forced fumble and a fumble recovery and 2 sacks and a bunch of pressures in the backfield. It was incredible to watch him. He was like on fire. But
Yeah.
the Eagles defense, just in general, to hold the Green Bay Packers to 7 points when their offense was really struggling, pretty wild to watch. So that was a defense that was really dominant this weekend.
It was the strangest game. Like,
It was. It was just so
it
boring.
was a strange game.
10-7.
Joe Shane said it best on ESPN today, and he really nailed it because it's not something I thought of. This was absolutely his thought. He said it's like they were playing in inclement weather, but they
Right.
weren't.
And they weren't.
They
That's
were
right.
playing
And it
this
wasn't.
grinded out 10-7, terrible, like playing scared, throw the ball away, throw it into the turf, lots of sacks,
They were
playing
also were
like there's
asking.
no way to get the ball downfield, except
Right.
there was like both teams have incredible weapons.
They were also asking them, was it really cold? And they were like, not really for Green Bay. I mean, this was in
No.
Green Bay. This wasn't like Green Bay in January. You know what I mean?
Mm-mm.
So it
Yeah.
wasn't really that cold. There really was no excuse for the way
No,
these
no,
two
I'm not
teams
saying there
played.
was any
Right.
reason to play like this, but it
Right.
was like as if they were playing in a blizzard.
I've been arguing for what, 5, 6 weeks now that Green Bay and Eagles, both of those teams' offenses are broken. And when both of them came up against these two very good defenses, it was just
Yeah.
very painful to watch the offense. Very painful.
Well, I've been claiming that the Packers are flawed all year, and
Mhm.
everyone's talking about how they're the best team in the NFL. They're going to the Super
Mhm.
Bowl. And I'm saying, nah, they're good. They're much better than they've been, but I don't think they're like on that level.
Mhm.
They have a bunch of good players. They don't have any stars. Um, Jordan Love is a very good quarterback, but not a great one.
Mhm.
He's very. They have to kind of hide him sometimes. Like he's not him. Um,
Mhm.
he's a good quarterback. He's a guy you want on your team. But he's not somebody that you should pay 60 million a year to. He's
You
not that elite
Do you think the
talent.
Dolphins moving Jalen Phillips to the Eagles, a complete game record, was a good idea? Do you think they should have traded him away?
Well, since they got rid of Greer, yeah, let's get some picks.
Mhm.
He was hurt all last year. He's been relatively ineffective this year. The system
Mhm.
isn't suitable to him right now.
Mhm.
Um, Brian, start over with a refresh if you're gonna do a rebuild, get picks.
So he goes and joins a line with Jalen Carter.
Oh,
It's
it's a
crazy.
win. It's a win-win for both sides. I mean,
Right.
it's a win for the Dolphins' future, and it's a win for the Eagles now.
That's true. So another really boring game was the one there in the middle. where the Broncos won that game 10-7 and
Terrible.
made Geno Smith look like a medium college quarterback. And
Yeah.
the Broncos couldn't do anything either. Bo Nix was just really inconsistent, very erratic,
Yeah.
throwing the ball into the ground all the time, throwing interceptions. Any thoughts about the Broncos? I mean, everyone keeps thinking they're a contender, but I argue that they just don't have enough offense to compete with the big boys.
I don't know exactly. I don't have too many theories either. I think the Broncos D is spectacular.
It's number one in the league right now. It's
Probably the
fantastic.
best in the league.
Yeah.
If I had to guess, I'd say they're number one. Not
Mm-hmm.
statistically, but just who would you not want to play the most?
Mm-hmm.
Then I think the Raiders defense has some threats on it. You know, you got Crosby's about as unstoppable a player as there is.
Mm-hmm.
He's sort of like today's JJ Watt. You know, he's just kind of a little bit loose and just maniac coming after your quarterback. So defenses, you know, are going to kind of win that one. Um, but what's
I mean,
wrong with the Broncos offense? I don't know
right.
exactly. I
Because
don't
you
like
look
how
at,
they're not running the ball well. I like their offensive line a lot, but they're acting like they have a bad offensive line. They're not running.
Mhm.
And I think they think too much of Nick's that he's just going to win the game for you every week. And I just don't
you know,
think he's like that. It's not made
he
like
looked a little bit like Aaron Rodgers did on Sunday. He looks a little bit like he has the yips. Aaron Rodgers definitely did. He was pulling up all the time, didn't want to take a hit. And
that. By
that's
the
how
way,
Bo Nix is playing. If he gets any kind of pressure at all, he throws it into the dirt. And
I can't
it's
remember
not
where I
going to
saw
work.
it, but I saw the funniest picture ever of Aaron Rodgers getting sacked. It was
Mm-hmm.
so funny. I wish I had saved it. I don't think I sent it to you, but it was so
Yeah.
funny. He had this little kid look like, "Don't hurt me, sir." You know,
Yeah,
it
don't,
looked,
I don't
it
want to get
was
hit.
so funny.
He
Yes.
did that a couple times in the game where the
Don't
guy
hurt
hadn't
me,
even hit
sir.
him
He
yet.
was like,
Mhm.
he's racing for
Yeah,
impact. It was
right,
absolutely hilarious.
right. So I look at the Broncos as having a championship level defense and not having an
Hmm.
offense that can score enough points against the Chiefs and the Ravens and some of those better teams, the Colts.
You know
So
what's funny?
we'll see.
I feel like you nailed it on the defense. And offense, I don't think they're very far away, but I think they're missing something. Like it's either the play caller isn't
Hmm.
nailing it, or they need just like one really mean offensive lineman, or they need a tight
Or
end that
or
like
Colin Cowherd is right, and that Bo Nix right now is broken. In his second year
I
full
don't think
starting.
so.
Because what he's
I don't
saying
agree
is
with that.
Sean Payton likes a accurate quarterback, and he had the most accurate in history, which was Drew Brees. And what he has this year is a guy who's very inaccurate. And he hasn't hit 60% completion rate yet. And
Yeah, but you know what? He also really coached well. The quarterback for the Saints
mhm.
that was the fullback and sometimes a receiver and
Yeah,
sometimes the
Taysom
quarterback, Taysom
Taysom Hill.
Hill,
Yeah. Hmm.
who was a Swiss Army knife, but he didn't have any particular strength that was exceptional. He was just pretty good at a bunch of things.
Hmm.
He coached him really well. I don't think that's it. I think there's something off there, and I can't quite place it, but I do
Hmm.
think that they're not that far away from being really good. I just they're
Hmm.
not good. If you watch them, they're not good.
Hmm.
But I don't think they're very far away from something
I
clicking
mean, I
and
think
making
if they could run the ball, it would help him a lot. And they
like for
just can't
instance, if
run.
they had gone and gotten Tyler Warren from the
Hmm.
Colts, or I don't know,
Hmm.
I think they just need something that they don't have right now. I don't know what
Right.
it is,
Right.
but
Right.
I'm not going to point my finger at Bo Nix. Somebody said it recently. They said, you know, that the offense gets way too much credit. The quarterback gets way too much credit when the offense is clicking and way too much blame when there's problems.
Right.
And neither one is really true.
That's
The
true.
quarterback should get some credit, but really it's offensive line blocking,
Hmm.
play calling. Are you running the ball and then doing play action, which freezes the defense? It's a lot different. It's a lot different when the defense is frozen versus when they're attacking. Um,
when
all
they
these
asked
things
Raheem
factor
Morris,
in, and the quarterback gets all the credit or all the blame. It doesn't make sense.
when they asked Raheem Morris why Bijan Robinson has not been able to run the ball the last 4 weeks, he just came out and said it. He didn't even sugarcoat it. He's like, our offensive line is not run blocking very well right now.
Right. So
So,
what do
I
you think it
mean,
does to your
yeah,
quarterback when
yeah,
your offensive line's not blocking well and you can't run the
yeah,
ball? Your quarterback looks worse and the quarterback
right.
takes all the blame. It doesn't make sense.
Whereas, you know who is run blocking very well? The Indianapolis Colts. If you see a picture there
Yeah.
of Jonathan Taylor, what an incredible performance again against
But
the Falcons.
it's not just the offensive line.
Yeah,
You could put him against behind most offensive lines right now and he's getting 150 yards a game.
probably so. He's having the
He's on
greatest
fire.
season in NFL history. Yeah,
He is.
he is.
He's having a career year
The
record
three best
breaking
years,
year.
the three best years before this one were Barkley last year, Christian McCaffrey in 2019, where
Hmm.
he had 1,000 yards both receiving
It's
and
gotta be
rushing.
Terrell Davis.
Yeah, and then Marshall Faulk in 2000. That back then that
Yeah.
was by the best performance. So those were
Yeah.
the best three before this one. This one's
And Terrell
boring. All three.
Davis. Terrell
Yeah,
Davis was there. He had
right.
2 good years that were off the chart. In fact, if they had drug testing back then, they probably should have drug tested him because I
So another
mean,
great
how
defense
so-
to talk about is right there on the top right, and they're ranked number 2 behind the Broncos, and they're the LA Chargers. And they just absolutely abuse the Pittsburgh Steelers. It was sad, man, to watch
it
Rodgers with
was.
the yips. He couldn't even step into a
He
throw.
was
He's so
doing that.
scared.
Don't hurt me, sir.
He
That was
literally
hilarious.
a couple times like didn't step into a throw, just threw it out of bounds and just like cowered. And I don't know how he's going to get through the season if he acts that way. He's going to play a lot of teams that have good pass rush. He's got the Broncos on the schedule. So I don't know. I'm not
The
sure that
Steelers
works.
have so few weapons. I don't like their offensive line.
They can't run the ball.
They're not running the ball. I mean, they have a good running back, but they're not running well. So
Mhm.
they're not moving the ball offensively, and so it's put so much pressure on their defense that everyone's like, "What's wrong with their defense?" Because they're being asked to do too much. They're
Right.
being asked to win games. Like that's just the
I
defense
know.
should go out there and try and hold it down as hard as they can and let their offense go shine, and that's how you get wins.
That's right.
Your offense goes out and put 38 points up there. Your defense just needs to hold people to 24.
You talk about
But
an
if
offense that's broken.
your defense gives up 24 and they look around and your offense is scoring 10, you're going to lose, but your defense did okay. You know,
You're talking about an
so
offense that's broken. The Steelers' offense is broken. There's just no
yeah, it's
question about it.
fundamentally shot. And so
Yeah.
that's the problem with just having a defense coordinator for a head coach too, is that somebody that just going to neglect the offense.
Did you see what they did today, the Steelers? They extended Mike Tomlin for 10 more years. They
Oh
gave him
yeah,
essentially,
yeah, I heard
they
that.
gave him a lifetime contract. Like, what are you doing? There's
I
no
don't know.
accountability at all, you know? It's crazy.
Well,
Another guy,
The Steelers just don't want to change head coaches.
I guess not. I
They've
guess
only
not. I
had, I
don't,
think it's 3 head coaches in the last 40 years. I think that's right.
something like that. Something like that, yeah. Another guy
That's
had a great
incredible.
day was Derrick Henry, had a really nice day. He'd had a couple weeks in a row he wasn't too good, but last 2 weeks he's really come into his own. And I think
He
he
looks
just
much better when Lamar is there.
from Mars in the pocket, yeah. And Baltimore picks up their third win in a row, and they're right back in it again. So
Yeah.
obviously, when you have Derrick Henry running like that, you're going to win a lot of games. And then the other
Well,
guy who
that division is a hot mess.
it is,
All three other
mm,
teams are trash.
it's true.
So, the Ravens are going to start looking like they're taking control, but I mean, of what? Like of a dumpster
Right,
fire of
right,
a
that's right.
division? Sure, okay. But
Yeah, the other guy who had a huge day was Hutchison. He was in the backfield on every single play. I mean, yes, he was playing a lot of backup starters for the Commanders, but Hutchison continues to be one of those absolute game wreckers, worth every dollar for the Lions because he just is in the
incredible.
backfield on every play.
Yeah.
So defenses and running backs is the theory. Let's go look at the scoreboard. We had that awful 10-7 game. Broncos defense shines in 10-7 squeaker against a really bad team. And then when I look at the Raiders side of this, Robbie, how are you feeling if you're Ashton Genty and Brock Bowers? Like these guys
You-
are
You're just trying to not
significant.
get hurt this season. I mean,
I mean, he can't get them the ball.
Geno Smith had a 12.7 QBR.
I know.
12.7.
I don't know how those guys are feeling because they are special talents and they're on this team that is just a complete dumpster fire.
Yeah.
And I just feel horrible for them. I'm not sure you can start them in fantasy right now because they have a broken offense and a broken quarterback. So
You
Raiders are
got
going to
Tyler Lockett is the leading receiver at 44 yards.
right, exactly. So I think the Raiders have tried this experiment, 3 years in a row, not drafting a quarterback. They
Yeah,
wanted Michael Penix last year and they didn't get him, and I think they're going to go ahead and do it this year. They just have to.
I
You got to go
guess, but
draft the
the
guy.
dumbest thing you can do is start the rookie. I mean, the rookie quarterbacks are struggling.
But you can't keep going with Geno Smith. That's not going to work.
No, I
It's not
agree,
going to work.
but
He's really regressed.
yeah, I don't know.
Anything else about this stinker of a game you can take out of it? I mean,
Just
the Broncos sit
you
at
can't
eight and
say enough.
two.
You can't say enough about the Broncos defense. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
they were awesome. They had 6 sacks and was it 10? No, 5 tackles for loss.
The, the way they're playing, I don't understand how they're 8 and 2, but somehow they're getting it done every week. I mean, it's
They're
just
winning
it's head
with
scratcher.
defense, and the offense is not playing well, but they're also not really making catastrophic errors. That's
What they
huge,
do,
actually.
what Bo Nix does is he basically doesn't play well for 3.5 quarters, and then he always plays well the last 10 minutes of the game every
Yeah,
single week.
that's
And
right.
I don't know. That's going to bite you in the playoffs. You get down 21-0 to the Ravens or something.
Yeah.
This game was crazy. The Falcons actually played pretty well. They gave them a really good run for it. Jonathan Taylor just absolutely took over in the second half. It was just a wrecking machine. And I was watching the Falcons fans in the crowd every time he had another long run, and they would just hold their heads like, how do we stop this guy? So they kind of got back on schedule. The Colts had 2 bad weeks in a row, but now they're back. So any thoughts about this game and the Falcons dropping to 3-6?
Um, I mean, Taylor getting 244 yards rushing is unreal. It really is demoralizing for a defense. And he was a dual threat. I mean, he received the ball and just ran it down their throats. Um, Tyler Warren's an incredible pickup for them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just the pieces they've added this year, a small number added may have made a huge difference. Daniel
Mm-hmm.
Jones, Tyler Warren, these are great pickups in spots where you were deficient. And it's just so good. And then,
Is
defensively,
it,
they played a solid game. Um, Falcons defense actually played really well.
they did play pretty
They
well.
just they couldn't tackle um, uh, Taylor, but
Jonathan Taylor. Yeah.
yeah. But
A guy who's really impressed me this year is Drake London. I think he's a really
Drake
good
London, oh
receiver.
yeah, they
He's
calling
really
him
impressive.
a touchdown machine.
Yeah, he's been really impressive.
He is.
Danny Dimes looked pretty good. Colts
Yeah,
get it
he looked
done.
healthy again.
Colts get it
They,
done in Berlin, which was pretty cool.
yeah,
And
what's cool? The owner of the Colts bought a round of beers for an entire bar. I think it was the night before the game or 2 nights before the game.
mhm,
It's pretty cool to see the human side of a billionaire or whatever.
that's
Um,
great.
billionaires. Yeah,
I wonder
pretty
if she
cool.
converted a bunch of Berlin residents to Colts fans. Who knows?
Probably,
Possibly.
probably. I don't know.
So this game again, the Giants for the fourth time this year take a 10-point lead into the fourth quarter and lose. It's never been done in NFL history before. They've lost more fourth quarter leads with 10 points or more than any other team. And what you saw in this game, in my opinion, this was the coming out party for Caleb Williams. This is the first time everyone in the league saw a quarterback that not one, but two fourth quarter drives. He led them down the field. One of them a 92-yard drive with good running from DeAndre Swift and really great timely passes to all his weapons. And he essentially refused to lose this game at home. That's basically what happened. And he got essentially the Giants coach fired after the game because of this loss. Any thoughts about this one?
It's 2 weeks in a row where I've been extremely impressed with Caleb Williams, but more importantly, um, Ben McDonald has learned how to coach him, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, he's willing, he's calling a lot of cool little trick plays like they were doing with the Lions, quick stuff, where Caleb doesn't have to go through 5 people progressions.
Hmm.
But this or run, like simplify it. I think he's made it faster. He's made it easier for the athleticism. He's working well with Caleb Williams. I think they've turned a corner.
Hmm.
And
I do too. I was very impressed. It really
Caleb
was.
Williams looks like a real weapon at quarterback.
And then to the Giants who keep getting these big leads and blowing them, what do you think that
Yeah.
is? I mean, is it that they don't have Scatterbo and they can't really run the ball in the fourth quarter when they need to? Is it that they're young and they haven't figured out how to win yet? Is it coaching? What
Uh,
is it? They keep blowing these leads.
well, obviously, when you fire your coach, you're saying that it was the coaching. I don't think he was the problem.
I
I think
agree.
Dabo, I think Dabo was Dable was keeping things together. He's the one
Me
who
too.
wanted Jackson Dart. The GM didn't want him. He's the one who wanted Abdul Carter. He's the one who
On Scatterbo.
didn't he wanted Scat, but he didn't want to get rid of Saquon Barkley.
Hmm.
Um, he's been right about all these things. In fact,
Right.
they should fire him and make him the GM. Um,
No,
but
he should have stayed, and they should have liquidated the offense and
I know, but I'm
defense.
saying he's so good at identifying personnel that would be
Mhm.
helpful.
It's
He
true.
should be the GM. No, but yeah, they shouldn't have fired him. That was a mistake. That was a mistake. I think
I
there's a
agree.
good young nucleus there. They're building a good team, but obviously they need to coach out all these injuries, meaning the behaviors that led to these injuries, you know?
Well, and it's very frustrating for Giants fans. They wanted something done. You had to fire somebody. I just don't think it was Dable. I think you fire
Yeah.
maybe the defensive coordinator. You fire somebody to show that you're
How could you not fire the GM that
or the
allowed
GM.
Saquon
Yeah,
Barkley to get out of there? Like
right.
how do you not fire him?
So one other thing we got to talk about, Caleb Williams, we think has turned the corner. I agree. I've seen
Yeah.
some real growth with him. It's not just the 14 scripted plays at the beginning of the game that he's good anymore. Now he's good in the fourth quarter, a couple weeks in a row.
Yeah, Ben McDonald is breaking through with him in
Yeah.
terms of getting inside his
The
head and teaching him how to process the information properly. That's what's
Now the
happening.
Giants have a real problem. Not only do they not have a coach, but they have a quarterback in Jackson Dart who's very good, but just had his fourth concussion of the season.
Yeah.
And now they're talking about maybe shutting him down for the year because they're worried that it's going to limit his career. They're really worried about it. And
Well,
he's got
yeah.
to figure out a different way to play because what he does is he runs and then he dives in with leading with his head all the time. You just can't
Right.
do that in the NFL.
No,
And
because he owes it to the team to stay healthy.
he gets a couple more concussions, and the league's going to shut him down. So
Uh-huh.
he's got 4 so far. Probably not going to play this week, and they're talking about because they're already out of the playoffs, shut him down for this year, and we got to teach him how to slide basically, because
Right.
he's a very good quarterback. But if they can't keep him
Yeah.
healthy, you know. So what are your thoughts on that? Is that just something that he's a rookie and he hadn't figured out how to
He's a rookie, he
run?
doesn't know how to protect himself. He's used to
Yeah.
running people over. And like you can't do that in the NFL. You're gonna get hurt. It's the same with Scatabo. It's the same
Right.
with neighbors. Like these are young guys who feel invincible.
Mhm.
They were invincible at the college level.
You notice
Uh,
all the veterans, they slide down right away.
yeah,
They
the
they they
veterans
know what's
slide,
coming.
they
Mm,
run out of bounds.
mhm,
They throw the ball away.
mhm.
They do all the things that help you not take the hit.
I notice even Bryce Young now runs out of bounds to protect himself. They're just smart, you know?
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
don't know, I'm worried about Jackson Dart. I'm a fan, and I want him to be
I'm not worried
successful.
about him because he's plenty smart enough.
Mhm.
Um, I'm worried because you took away Brian Dable from him. Like
Right, right.
he
I'm just worried
wanted
about
Dart.
limiting his
Dart
career.
knows this, so there's an allegiance there. Is he gonna mesh with the next coach as well? I don't know.
I'm
Like,
just
so
worried
that's a
about his
problem.
career getting limited
Yeah,
by all these concussions. We'll see. This next
yeah.
game, I know you were absolutely delighted. I was delighted too. I could not believe they took the Bills out to the woodshed in this game. It was incredible to watch. And Shane had his best day in 3 years. Waddle had a great day. Allen actually didn't have a terrible day, but they just couldn't find the end zone. They kept getting into the red zone, either turning it over or turning
I
over on
f-
downs or
I
missing
feel a
field
little
goals.
I feel a little vindicated because I have been vilified for my position on Josh Allen,
Hmm.
which was bordering on being a hater, but I think it was fair in that I've actually started liking him more than I did. But I refuse to say something that everyone else does, that he's the league MVP. He's not even the MVP on his team.
But you know what?
The
I'm
MV,
less
the
worried about
MVP,
Josh Allen.
hold on, the MVP on his team is James Cook. And
Yes, I
when
agree.
James Cook does not go off, when he doesn't cook, so to speak,
And fumbled
then
in the red
then the
zone,
whole
probably.
the whole team falls apart.
Right.
And so James Cook has 13 carries for 53 yards, not gonna win against a good team.
And a
Not
fumble
going
in
to
the red
beat
zone.
mediocre teams like the
Hmm.
Dolphins, even. You
Hmm.
need him to have 24 carries for 120 yards. He's going to not fumble it, and Josh Allen's numbers are going to look better. So it's
I
just
agree.
the whole thing. The team MVP is James Cook. The idea that Josh Allen's the league MVP is so laughable because he's not even the MVP on his own team.
I
He's
agree
an
with that.
important player on his team. He's probably the second most important, but the
And when
most
Josh
important
Allen,
player on the team is James Cook.
in the stat you talk about all the time, when Josh Allen throws it 40 times, they're losing the game. That's just
Mhm.
how it is.
Yeah.
So the other thing I'd mention to you, though, Robbie, is I'm less worried about James Cook and Josh Allen. I know they're great players and they're going to come back and bounce back. What
I
I'm
agree with
worried
that.
about, what I'm worried about for the Bills is their defense was shredded in this game. They
Yeah,
don't have
but that's what
anywhere
happens
close.
when you're not controlling the game, the tempo with the running game, and keeping your defense off the field. That's what the Bills are built to do. And when you flip that and you have a bunch of three and outs and turnovers and this and that and the other, and your defense is out there too long, that's not the strength of your team. It's like
The,
asking a weak kicker to try 60 yarders every time. It's just
the
not
theme
gonna
of our
it's not gonna work.
the thing of our program tonight is defenses and running backs. They have a running back in James Cook, but it doesn't look to me like the Bills have a championship level defense. They just don't.
No,
Their
they
their
haven't all
defense,
year.
yeah. So I
No,
do
but
not
listen,
consider
when
them
their
a
offense
contender.
is clicking, it's extremely dangerous.
It
But
is.
even when it's clicking, they don't have a high level defense.
I
So they're
agree.
outscoring teams 40 to 38. But you can't do that every week. And if you're not going to run the ball well, I'm telling you, if I'm a defensive coordinator, I am stacking the box and
Mm-hmm.
saying Josh Allen's got to beat us with
100%.
these mediocre wide receivers. They're
What
super
wins
mediocre.
championships? Defenses and running the ball. That's what wins championships.
Deion Coleman and Shakir, these guys are mediocre. They have good tight ends. Your tight ends might be the problem, but they didn't throw it to their tight ends enough. Kincaid
So
had
how
two
do you,
catches, Knox had
so,
three.
so how do you feel about the Dolphins coming out of this game? Do you think there's a rallying effect with the Chris Greer firing? Are they starting to kind
Yeah,
of round it? They're not going to make the playoffs, but are they starting to maybe be able to salvage something this season?
I think you get to see what the painting is going to look like next year.
Hmm.
There's a lot of nice pieces there, super athletic players.
Hmm.
There's been something wrong in the locker room, and
Hmm.
they've traded some big but expensive players. They're going to keep
Hmm.
working at it. Maybe Tyreek's gone. Uh, I
Yeah.
think they might be getting good news on Tyreek. I don't know, but um,
This was an
and
incredibly impressive win.
they clearly have great young players in place. I mean, Shane is as good as it gets in the NFL. Like, there's
True.
not much better than him, young wise. He's
So
at
is
the
Waddle.
prime of his career. Waddle too. Waddle does better without Tyreek there.
He does
So
way
the
better.
problem they have is they don't have a tight end, and their offensive line is suspect, and their quarterback play is not good enough. So
Hmm. I agree. So this next game, the Ravens win their third game in a row. They started the season 1-5, and everyone wrote them off. I'm not sure why they did, because as soon as Lamar Jackson comes back and Derrick Henry starts running the ball again, they start beating people. And so, what are your thoughts? Are the Ravens back?
hold on a second, though. Hold on a second. They're beating relatively bad teams. Beating the Vikings is a nice win, actually, but their division is garbage.
I
Their
agree with
division
that.
is garbage.
I agree.
And I think they're a flawed team. They're not as good as they were last year. They're not as good as they were the year before.
I agree with that.
So four and
But
five.
don't you agree that they're likely to win that division?
I think they're going to end up with a positive record, so they're going to keep flipping it from when they were 1-5, I think.
Yeah, they were 1-5. Now they're 4-5. They're sitting at 4-5, and the Steelers are at 5-4.
They're gonna flip it to positive. They're
Are
gonna
you
end up,
telling me? Are you telling me
nine
the
and eight.
Steelers are going to win that division, or you think the Ravens are going to win that
No,
division?
no, I think the Ravens are gonna win it, but the Steelers might, because the Ravens did dig themselves this hole. But I think that division is the worst division in football.
I think so it is too, but I think the Ravens are
So,
going to win
so
it.
the
That's
the
my point.
idea you win it isn't even saying very much, is what I'm saying. Like, where would they finish in the NFC North? The Ravens
True. No,
last. I
I
mean,
completely agree because their
who's better, the
defenses are really good.
Ravens? Who's better, the Ravens or the Bears?
The Ravens' problem this year is
That's
not
tough.
offense; it's defense. Their problem is
I know.
defense. So, so what do you think about the Vikings' problems? You've got JJ McCarthy, who looks just trash on almost every drive, on every play.
I've
Every
heard
once
a
in a
lot
while,
of hate.
every once in a while, he throws a good throw, but for the most part, I mean, when you go 20 for 42 in the NFL, that's just not good
Yeah,
enough. You're not going to win a lot of
no, it's
games.
not.
What do you think about him and how he's looked? And is it just that he's a young
I've heard
player,
a lot
or
of hate going towards JJ McCarthy, and I don't really buy into it. I don't agree with it. I think that they need to. I mean, he's only been back what? This is his first week back,
no, second week back?
second
Yeah.
week back. He's
Yep.
been hurt a lot. Um, he's still a young player. You got to just stay with him, let him develop, and he blew his
He's
knee.
very inaccurate.
They,
That's it.
I'll tell you
He
what,
really.
throwing him 42 times when he's just working his way back is malpractice.
I
So I
agree.
mean, that's that, you know. He's
But
coming
they
off
get
an
so far
injury,
behind.
drop him back 42 times. That's not going to work.
Their problem is they get so far behind that they have to throw, and they have O'Donnell who loves to throw. So that's the problem.
I
So
know, but that doesn't make sense.
I think personally believe that JJ McCarthy might not be what they thought he was. And I think the fact that they traded Sam Darnold and started McCarthy, I think is malpractice for the
I
GM.
think they probably felt people feel the same way about Darnold back in the day, about Baker Mayfield. I mean, like, no, I don't agree that he can't become what they thought he was.
Maybe, maybe.
I think the right environment has to exist, which is not throwing 42 times, having a
I would
nice
have,
running game, having your
I would,
defense play a little better. The defense has been not as good as I expected.
I would have
Uh,
kept Darnold one more year. I would have paid him 35 million, and I would have
oh, in
let
hindsight,
McCarthy
yes,
stay on the bench one more year and get ready. I don't think
I
he's ready.
agree because last year it's different when you're hurt. You're not quite on the bench. Like
Hmm.
you're watching, but you're not really like getting reps
Hmm.
and in practice, and you're not um, getting mop up time, and you're not getting
Hmm.
any sense of preparation of what it takes. You're on crutches and you're in sweatpants and you're kind of chilling and
Hmm.
you're rooting for your team, but you're not really like mentally as engaged, so
Well, these two teams are in different divisions. We know the Vikings are in a tough division, but these two teams also felt like they're going in different directions. You have one that's getting healthy and starting to win games again, and you have a Vikings team that has a loaded roster on both sides of the ball, and
I like O'Connell.
you have a quarterback who can't get the ball to his wide receivers. That's the problem.
I like O'Connell, Tom, but listen to a couple stats that happened to the Vikings. They the Ravens had 5 penalties for 62 yards. The Vikings had 13 for 102.
Hmm.
That's a very undisciplined team. If you're
It
in
is.
double digit penalties, very undisciplined.
You know
Couple
what's the
that with
craziest thing about that, Robbie?
couple
You know what's
that
the
with
craziest thing?
3 turnovers and no turnovers for the Ravens. So that's a
Hmm.
huge turnover margin. So these are big factors that are point to the coach. It's not the coach's fault, but it points to the coaching they're receiving on protecting the
Rob,
football
do you know that
and not committing
11
penalties.
you know 11 of those 13 penalties were false start penalties?
Hmm.
And they're playing at
Yeah,
home. They're playing in their
I
own
know.
dome, and they're
I
doing
know.
false
It's not
starts.
even noise. It's not
Like,
even
what are you
noise.
doing?
It's discipline. It's decision making. It's
Hmm.
protecting the ball. I think those things point to coaching. I mean, when you have a
Maybe,
discipline problem, that's coaching. When you have,
maybe,
oh, we weren't ready to play and we weren't
or
mentally in the
or
game, that's coaching.
or is McCarthy just not ready and he's not executing right now? I don't know. I, I mean, you have to
I
look at the
think
film.
this is a perfect example of blaming the quarterback for everything that goes wrong and giving way
Hmm.
too much credit for when everything goes right. It's all to the
Hmm.
quarterback. No
Right.
way. If you look at good teams, look at Brady's first Super Bowl, it was the whole defense. Look
Hmm.
at the Ravens Super Bowls, that was defense. A lot of times quarterbacks are getting a lot of credit for things that they really shouldn't. If you look
True.
even at Eli Manning beating the Patriots, it was those defenses that did it.
Hmm. That's right.
So,
So
you
this
know,
next game was the Toilet Bowl. It was the two teams that are lined up right now to be the number one pick, along with the Tennessee Titans. And you really didn't really know what was going to happen in this game because they're both so bad. And the Jets come out with their second straight win. Brees Hall has a really nice day. They didn't have to throw the ball very much because Fields clearly this year is not playing very well, and their
yeah.
offense is not playing very well. And somehow they come out with a 27-20 win. Dylan Gabriel very inaccurate most of the day. He did have a couple nice hookups with Jerry Jeudy, but for the most part, the Browns just do what they always do, which is to lose to bad and good teams. So, what are your thoughts about this one?
It was a stinker. Oof, this was
Yeah,
painful. Two
painful
and
to watch.
seven, 2-7. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
um, how pitiful. The Browns are 0-5 away, and the
Hmm.
Jets are only 1-5 at home. Like, it's just these
I
teams
know.
lose. That's what they do. They lose.
Mhm.
They're bad organizations. There's good people in there, but they're not run well. They don't exude confidence. They're not going to make good decisions. They're going to get a lot of penalties. They're going to make a lot of mistakes.
They trade
Um,
away Flacco, and he looks like a barn burner at Cincinnati. And now they're
right.
sitting on Gabriel. Do you think they're going to move to Shador at some point? They're going to give him a couple starts.
I don't know. I mean, I think starting rookies is a mistake. So, I hope not. I hope let Shador learn.
Hmm.
But
I will say the Jets are fighting for this coach. They're really bad, but they're fighting for this
yeah,
coach. I will say that. And the
it's kind of
defense is
interesting.
pretty
They
good.
they lost most stat categories. Like
Hmm.
they really kind of did. And
This was two really good defenses. The Browns have a great defense. The Jets have a very good defense. I wouldn't call it
yeah,
great, but um, and these two quarterbacks struggled. You know, it's just
yeah,
how it is. You have Fields sometimes completing 10 or less passes some weeks. They just
right.
don't trust him to throw the ball. So it's I don't know. That was a really sad one to watch. Let me tell you, this game
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield actually had the better game if you look at the stats and just the way the game unfolded. But what he didn't have, even though he was at home, was he didn't have the running game. He has both of his starting running backs banged up, Bucky Irving. And what the Patriots had is an emerging Trevion Henderson who's getting better and better and better every
Yeah.
week. And they also have Drake May playing at a very high level. And they also had this kid Williams, who's a wide receiver, had his first start and caught a really nice touchdown down the sideline. Egbuka had a nice day, but for the most part, Buccaneers took care of business on the road here. So thoughts about the Patriots and the Buccaneers?
I think coach of the year is the Patriots,
Mike
um,
Vrabel.
Mike Vrabel, and the division is much weaker than people thought it was going to be. The Dolphins have been a joke up until a couple weeks ago. The Bills are clearly disappointing people, and um, the Bucks are an excellent team. I think they were getting a little overinflated with a little too much Baker hype. I like Baker,
I heard
and
I
I
heard
think
when they started 6-1, everyone was saying they were the best team in the NFC. I never bought that. They're in a
no, they
bad
said
division.
yeah, league MVP. Like, stop, stop, stop. You're jinxing him.
He is very good
It's
though.
Baker's very good. I would love to have him as my quarterback, but league MVP is for something special, like Brady and that
Mahomes.
level of
Hmm.
yeah, Mahomes at his prime, Manning, Brady. Those are kind of the main guys that should be MVP,
Mhm.
not just a quarterback who's playing pretty well and his team's
Any
winning.
concern if you're the Buccaneers? You've lost two straight at home. I know they both were against good teams, but
Uh, well, I think Baker Mayfield throwing the ball 43 times is a problem. I think that they're missing Bucky and
they're actually missing both of their top running backs and
yeah, the running backs.
and
So
Godwin at wide receiver. They
yeah,
have not had a full team the whole season. I don't know how they've
yeah,
done it.
they've really been struggling. Um, I like the Bucks. I think they have a lot of wins ahead of them still. They're in a bad division, but at
Mhm.
the end of the day, too much hype for Baker, and I love what's going on with New England. I
I
mean,
mean, Trevion Henderson, you remember we saw him in the preseason and we were like, wow,
yes,
he's going to
we
be good.
we're in love watching that guy play. Henderson is unbelievable. He's a talent. He was amazing in college. You have this incredible nexus of this amazing coach who nobody can really explain why he got let go in Tennessee, other
That
than they
was
weren't very
the
good. But go
dumbest
look
thing
at
I've
their
ever seen.
roster.
Yeah,
Go look at their roster.
I
It
know.
goes back to my thing on firing. I think we're too many coaches get fired because there's losing. Like it doesn't make you better to fire your coach because you're losing.
That's
You
right.
need to ask yourself, why are we losing? Where are we deficient? Is it the coaching? I mean, I look at last night's game with Green Bay, and I know we're going to talk about it, but LaFleur called up good plays that the wide receivers dropped,
Yeah,
and so
that's
then
right.
so the play doesn't happen, and so you're punting because not because of coaching, because your wide receiver drops the ball, and then
And
he
I
drops the
looked
ball
at
again.
this game. I looked at this game, Robbie, where the Patriots are one of the best teams in the AFC.
Yeah,
And there's no shame losing 28-23 to the Patriots. You know what I mean? Like they're a playoff team. So it's just, I
I
look at this
love the
two really
way
good teams.
I love the way Drake May is playing. I love the way they're moving the ball around to a bunch of different players. They're buying into the culture. You can see the culture forming.
You can.
Um, you, I think you might be looking at the new AFC dominant force,
I think
and
so too.
I think you're going to see the next few years are two very similar coaches. Who am I talking about?
John Gruden.
The Lions and the Patriots are probably going to be at the top for the next 5 years, most likely because their coaches are building a culture first with no name players. There's no stars on the Patriots. They don't have stars, you know? They don't have Pro Bowlers and all this. They've got solid players that play their guts out and are talented, but there's no prima donnas asking for more money.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Vrabel's just
It's
gonna get
true.
rid of him. Like that's a problem in that locker room. So he's like a very good disciple from the old Belichick days, is
Mm-hmm. It's
really what
true.
that is. He
Very
should have
true.
never been let go of
And if
Tennessee.
John Gruden goes to the Dolphins or to the Giants, he's going to give him that kind of toughness. He's going to give him that kind of discipline. I really believe that. But
I really
Vrabel,
think Dan Campbell and Mike Vrabel have so many similarities. It's incredible.
they
They're
do.
both
They do.
really tough ex-players who are incredible players, coaches. Did you see the video of Vrabel? There was a player down, hurt, and
Mm-hmm.
Vrabel was on his knees holding his hand, and it looked like it was like killing him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
The
because
rest
he's
of
a
the team
player.
is
He's a
watching.
player's coach.
He
Yeah,
loves his players. He
I
wants to
know.
punch him in the face with intensity, but he loves them.
Right.
He would do anything. He would lay
Right.
down in front of a car to save a player. Like
It's true.
so.
It's true.
So
And
I think that
Vrabel's the same way. Vrabel was a
no,
linebacker.
no, no. I
Same
was
way.
talking about Vrabel.
I know.
Vrabel was on
Mm.
his knees holding the hand of a Patriot that was down. And that's the
Mhm.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
I saw a video of the Patriots had a melee in camp with
Hmm.
one of the other teams. Vrabel dove into the pile. Everyone else has helmets on. He comes
Wow.
out bleeding. His face was all cut up
Wow.
because he was going to pull his players out of there.
That's crazy.
Do you know that is a culture building moment
It is. It is.
where, and I'm telling you, those two
Love that
guys
kind
have
of coach.
so many parallels. Their players would run through a wall for them. You
True.
think Mike McDaniel has that? No.
Mm. No.
You think anyone pick a team that's mediocre. I mean, they don't
Hmm.
have that culture of it's almost like military. It's almost
Yeah.
like the veterans where you do
Yep.
anything for your buddy, but
Or
when you
for
have to
your
go tell
general. Yeah.
for your general,
Yep.
but when you have to
Hmm.
go tell the wife of your best friend that you were in the foxhole with that he's not coming home, you gladly do that service because you love your guy so much. It's
100%. Yep.
it's like that. It's the same kind of
That's right.
mind. It's the same part of the brain.
That's right. So this next game, the Saints take on my Panthers and beat them 17-7 here at home in Charlotte.
Hmm.
I still don't understand what I witnessed. It was the most pathetic offensive performance by the Panthers in several years. It was just, I can't even tell you how pathetic this performance was. The Panthers only got into Saints territory 3 times the whole game, and couldn't run the ball all of a sudden for some reason, couldn't pass the ball, couldn't complete a pass, couldn't get a first down. And all of a sudden, they made Tyler Shock look like a Pro Bowler in this game. He was distributing all over the field. Alvin Kamara had his comeback game. Chris Olave played
Well,
really
that's
well.
the thing. Kamara,
So,
Kamara looked good for the first time in a long time.
yeah. So,
Yeah,
thoughts about this game? Is it
I
just
think if
laying an egg?
I think if Kamara gets going, this team can do some damage. They're not playoff team, but they can beat a lot of good teams. And Olave had amazing catches. Like
He did.
some of those
He did.
catches weren't just nice yardage. They were amazing catches.
Right.
So he was clearly a wide receiver
And
one talent.
to be fair to Bryce Young, he's won 4 out of his last 5 starts. Okay. He
Yeah,
had been playing really well. He looked awful in this game. I mean, you just can't sugarcoat it. And I just hope to chalk it up to a bad night. I really
I think
do.
young quarterbacks have these kind of terrible games. They're not as consistent as they will be as time passes and they get more experience. They know how to kind of handle when the momentum isn't going right. They don't make
Mm.
things worse. And
You
he's
just
still a
have
young
to think to
quarterback.
yourself. You have to think to yourself when you look at the schedule at the beginning of the year. The only way the Panthers can make the playoffs is they have to win these kind of games.
Yeah,
Saints at
no, that's
home,
right.
so it just shows me that this is a team, the Panthers, that is improved but is not there yet.
Right.
That's the way I
Panthers
look
going to
at it.
draft nice
Yeah,
high up because
yeah.
they lose these games, you know?
And you think the Saints have something in Shock? It looks like he might be okay.
Yeah, I mean, I've always thought that he was a decent option for them. I think he was good in college, and I think that they brought him along slowly. They let him learn. And
Hmm.
Rattler wasn't getting it done, but no, I don't think they're going to win that many games. They're 2-8, and I don't think it's just because of Rattler. I think that they're not very talented overall. Their roster is not very
Hmm.
impressive, but
Hmm.
they do have some stars who can make a difference. And when you get the running game going and the passing game going, and you're balanced on offense, you've got enough weapons there to be a problem.
I just hope the Panthers can kind of put this one behind them, move on, get back to playing like they had been playing for a couple weeks in a row, and kind of get back into that winning way.
They
But
got a
I
little bit
think,
cocky because they won some games that probably shouldn't have, but they
yeah,
played really well. They played their hearts out and they
yeah,
got a little distracted by all this Rico Dowdle 2 pumps getting penalized and that was a bit of
right,
a distraction, you know.
true, it's
I
true.
saw a video of Key and Peele called in to the Panthers meeting and they were joking about the skit that Rico Dowdle copied, which got him fined. And he
Hmm.
started a GoFundMe page, not for himself, but GoFundMe. He wanted to use his platform to raise money for a
Hmm.
children's charity.
Hmm.
And Key and
I saw
Peele
that.
threw a good sized check to him.
Hmm.
And so, I mean, there's been a bit of a distraction. I'm not saying that's all of it, but It feels like with winning comes some comfort. And
It's true. It's
Kurt
true.
Signetti talks about it. He said his job is to make sure that my team's not comfortable. Human nature is the problem. That's what Coach K taught him. Human nature is the biggest problem. And human nature tells you that when you have big wins, you kind of settle back and get a little comfortable and get a little
Mhm.
happy with yourself. And good coaches don't let you get comfortable.
Right. So this next game was just the craziest ending I've seen in a long time. Maybe the craziest since that Broncos Giants game, where Davis Mills comes in because C.J. Stroud is hurt. He
Yeah.
plays his first start in quite a while and has a fantastic game, especially in the fourth quarter. The Jaguars come into the fourth quarter with a 29-10 lead, just like they had several times this year, and they found a way to blow it. And I'm still scratching my head how they did it. But the Texans end up scoring 26 points in the fourth quarter with Davis Mills and Nico Collins and all these guys having a huge day and find a way to pull this game out and give the Jaguars their third very disappointing loss this year with more than a 14-point lead that they blew. So, any thoughts about why this keeps happening to the Jaguars and especially to a backup quarterback?
Well, I mean, Nico Collins went off. Um, I kind of feel like that's why the Giants lost. There's something about learning how to win when you have a lot of young players. And if you don't know how to win, a lot of times you fumble it away at the end.
Yeah, and it's
Um,
like these guys don't know how to salt games away. What is it
yeah.
about that? You have a 29-10 lead
Well,
in the fourth quarter.
the first thing I think of immediately when a team can't finish off a fourth quarter lead is their ability to run the ball. If you can pound it down the other team's throat, even if they know you're going to run,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to win the game because you're going to take your 10-point lead and you're just going to hang on to it and maybe even keep building on it with field goal after field goal after field goal and just make it out of reach.
Mm-hmm.
But when you do these three and outs, you're giving the other team extra opportunities and extra possessions. If you can't run the ball, you're giving it back to them not only too quickly, but with too much time left on the clock. Because running the ball chews up a lot more clock than throwing. So I think what my immediate first question is when I find out somebody blew a fourth quarter lead is I look at their running stats and I know they're not going to be very impressive.
And
I
guess what they
know
were
that
doing in the fourth quarter? Guess what they were doing? They were dropping back Trevor Lawrence, and
throwing nonstop.
he was throwing
Yeah, that's
incompletion after incompletion after
that's
incompletion.
coaching. That's
Yeah,
coaching.
yeah.
And it might be because they tried running the ball and it didn't work, but that's not
Mhm.
what the stats say. I mean, you know, Travis Etienne carrying it 16 times and Trevor Lawrence is your next with 5.
Mhm.
Trevor Lawrence isn't carrying the ball. I mean, he's pretty much running for his life for the most part. And Basil Tutin only 4 carries.
Mhm.
That's not going to get it done.
That's right.
That's not going
And
to get it done.
I will also say the Texans do have a very good defense. They really do. And they completely locked the
Yeah,
Jaguars down in the second half. So,
no, they do have a good D. But what I'm saying is when I see a team is consistently losing the fourth quarter, I already know they don't have a running game.
mhm.
I don't have to
Right.
look at the stats. I mean, I like to look at the stats to prove it to myself, but it is a fact that your inability to nail the coffin shut is comes from not being able to control the clock, keep your
Right.
defense off the field, wear
Right.
down their defense, break their spirit, break their will.
Insult
Um,
the game away because you're
the
trying to
great
limit
teams,
possessions.
the great teams can do it. The Eagles could do it last year.
They gave the Texans 5 possessions in the fourth quarter. That just shouldn't happen. You shouldn't get
And
5 possessions.
by the way, you're hammering them with the running game. And every
Mhm.
now and then, just throw one to your open tight end.
Right.
You don't have to run every down and be called conservative, but you should be able to hammer your opponent into submission
That's right.
and then
I,
hit them with something that is can't miss. You either
I
catch it or you don't.
I literally don't remember this many blown fourth quarter leads that we've had this year. And it seems to me like a lot of teams don't know how to finish games. They really don't. They don't know
Well,
how to salt them away.
they're not running the ball. Look at
Yeah.
this game we're going to talk about right here, the Cardinals. Um, Brissett dropping back to pass on every play and getting hammered and fumbling, and the same guy, Demarcus Lawrence, taking it back for two different
Two times.
touchdowns.
2 times he hit him twice and he scooped and scored twice. It was
But he was
crazy.
dropping back to throw, so
I know.
it was nonstop throwing, and
Right.
that's why the wheels came off. It
You
wasn't
know,
that twisted.
I have to say the Seahawks are incredibly impressive. They're really good. They have two-headed monster at running back. They
Yeah,
got all these. They got Smith and Jigbo, who may be the best receiver in football. He's definitely in the top three.
he's having the best year of any receiver in football.
And Darnold is playing out of his mind. There's no one who plays a better deep game right now in terms of throwing the long ball than Darnold right now.
Yeah.
And they're just a really
I
fantastic team.
think
They got a
I
good
think
defense.
Darnold's a little bit of the weak link there, but I definitely like the way he's playing. I just don't think he's not a Super Bowl candidate type. He's not good enough to get you all the way up to there,
The
but he's
Seahawks
good. He's decent.
the Seahawks turned the ball over 5 times in the second half in this game, or it would have been like 63-10.
That's right.
I mean,
I'll tell you,
they just
Smith and
kept,
Jigba
yeah,
is the best receiver in football. And I heard a
I
commentator
think he
talking
is
about
too.
him saying that he's always open. Just it doesn't matter if he's covered or not, he's always open.
Hmm.
And that's just a really interesting way to think of it, is every time you throw him the ball, he's going to get the ball from the defender.
Hmm.
So
You know,
that's why he's getting so many catches.
we talk about these teams like the Broncos and the Browns and others who have a great defense but don't have much offense right now. And then there's other teams like the Cowboys who have a great offense but no defense. The Seahawks have both, and there's only a couple
Yeah.
teams that are a complete team in the NFL. There's
There's
probably
only been
4 or 5.
four times in NFL history where a defender has picked up a fumble and returned it twice in the same game.
Hmm. That was really
That's
unusual.
that's a
Yeah,
special performance by
yeah, right.
Demarcus Lawrence.
Now, one guy who shined for the Arizona Cardinals is on my fantasy team, and that's Trey McBride. He continues to
McBride.
be one of those
Yeah.
top three tight ends. He's just
Yep.
really,
Every
really
week,
good.
week in and week out. He's
Yeah.
just like Bowers because his team is losing and he's still putting up numbers.
Hmm. Right. Anything else to say about the Seahawks in this one? Incredibly impressive.
I was a little disappointed with Brissett. I think he's a very steady, good guy, but terrible game plan. Um, Recipe for disaster.
Right.
Remember,
Holding
Seattle's
the
one of the
ball
hardest
too long.
places to play in the NFL, and you don't go in there with that game plan.
I
It's
noticed
gonna
on
not go
those
well.
dropbacks, the dropbacks that he was getting sacked on, and that there was forced fumbles. I noticed on all of those he was doing 7-step drops. That it's taking way too long to get the ball
Yeah.
out. On all of
Yep.
those plays, that just shouldn't happen. You got to go 3-step drops, get the ball out
Yeah.
against
Defenders
the
were
Seahawks.
coming in and smashing his hand while he was trying to
Right.
throw it.
So the other team that is incredibly impressive right now is the LA Rams. They
Yeah.
really have put a couple games in a row against really good teams together. They beat the 49ers 42-26 in San Francisco. They have a
Yeah.
really nice running game going now with Kyron Williams. They've got both their receivers going. Stafford is playing maybe the best football of his entire career at 39 years old.
He looks so good.
And their defense
He
is
looks so good.
fantastic with Jared Verse and all these guys. They're really
Yeah.
fast. I
I
don't
know.
know. I wouldn't want to play the Seahawks or the Rams right now. These two teams are
No.
really good. Any thoughts about this one?
Um, you're right. You're right. I think they're one of the best teams in the NFL because they're one of the most balanced rosters with good quarterback play and good coaching. And now they can run the ball. They've really improved their game plans. I like
Hmm.
the way they play. They're very explosive.
Hmm.
Their defense can hold you down. I don't think the defense played particularly well in this game. I mean,
Hmm.
they had what, 0 sacks? 0 sacks. Um, Imagine when they start dominating.
I
Like
know.
it,
And they did
they
they
would
did give up
they
some
would have
yards in this
blown them out.
game. They did
Yeah,
give
they
some
gave up
yards.
yardage.
Yeah.
But I thought the offense for the Rams looked great.
Yeah. It was
But
really
look at
good.
the yardage; it's pretty similar. Um,
Hmm.
the defense just didn't play that great. But you know what was amazing about this game? Um, the Rams were 5 of 6 in the red zone,
Hmm.
and the Niners were 4 of 5 in the red zone. Those are high ratios.
That's
That's
impressive.
why it was so high explosive offensive
Hmm.
scoring.
Hmm. Don't you think NFL fans generally would rather watch this game versus a 10-7 Broncos Raiders game?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
let's be honest.
Yep.
Oh man, I think the average fan would at least. So this game was just sad. I mean, this is in Commanders. Commanders have lost 5 in a row. They've lost 3 straight at home. They are playing with half their roster on injured reserve, including their quarterback, 2 running backs, their star wide receiver, and they played a really good Lions team who came in kind of determined to impose their will, I guess you could say. And all the Lions' main players had really good games. So, thoughts about this game and what's happening with the Commanders and the Lions at this point?
Well, it was a huge difference because after the last game, Dan Campbell said, "I'm really, really not happy with the way the offense is running." And he called the offensive coordinator in and they had a conversation. And they said, just heart to heart, I'm not trying to hurt you in any way or harm your career, but I'm taking over the offensive play calling.
Yep,
And
he
and he
did.
said, I and and they responded really well as a team of coaches, and they came together and they let Dan Campbell cook, and they have so
And
many
he ran up
weapons on
and
the
he ran
lines.
up 525 yards of offense.
Oh, it was unbelievable. It was
Yeah,
unbelievable. I mean,
yeah.
and last week having Jameer Gibbs in there on a lot of plays where he needed to block, they didn't do that this time. They said
Hmm.
that's just not his strength. So when he was in there, they would flare him out or they would run the ball. And he
Hmm.
busted some incredible runs.
He did.
What a great game he had.
He
Two
was dominant.
touchdowns, 142
Mhm.
yards. He had some really explosive, like right by the fastest guy on the Commanders,
He did.
leaving him in the dust kind of
And
runs.
Jared Goff had one of his better games of the year. He really had a
Yeah.
nice, solid, efficient game with 3 touchdowns.
Jameson Williams did too.
Yeah. Yeah, they were really good.
It was
I'm not
pretty
sure
hilarious. It was pretty hilarious with Amon-Ra St. Brown doing the Donald Trump.
the
It
Donald
was
Trump
pretty.
dance. Yeah.
He pointed up where Donald Trump was in the box, and he did the
And then did you see that a commander did it too? Ben Sanat, who's the backup tight end, when he
yeah.
scored, he did the Trump dance too. So
Hey, that's
kind of
funny.
cool to see both of them because he was there to see the game. So
I mean, it's just
he
it's
actually
just
did a
fun.
little bit of announcing too. He actually announced a couple plays.
See?
So it was kind of fun to
I
watch. Yeah.
missed that part,
Yeah.
but it was just entertainment. It's
Do you
funny.
think the
Got
Lions can
people
take
got
something from
cheers.
this game? I mean, they've gone to Dan
Yeah,
Campbell calling plays, but they're playing a very injured and stripped down Commanders
I
team.
think they can take a lot from this in that gosh, Commanders had 0 sacks, 0 tackles for loss.
I want to see him call a game against like the Eagles defense or
Well,
like a real
listen,
defense.
I think that he can call a game against anybody's defense because he keeps you off balance. He's going to keep
Yeah.
like Ben McDonald's not the only one who can use these weapons, right?
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
I think I think Dan Campbell has the swagger and he can make
Hmm.
these teams really, punch you in the mouth. Uh, do some trick plays, play
I mean,
hard
the
on defense.
lines are absolutely loaded, and I think he felt like they were not living up to their potential, which makes sense. Yeah.
It's the best roster in football, and they have good culture, and they'll die for each other. So
Hmm.
every now and then they have a stinker, but they usually get
Right.
it right afterward, and they blow people out afterwards.
So this game, the Steelers looked really bad on both sides of the ball.
Terrible.
The Chargers really dominated in every way, running the ball, passing the ball, on defense, turnovers, blitzing, getting pressure on Rodgers, making him really shy away from a lot of hits. He really looked kind of feckless. So the question coming out of this game for a lot of the announcers was, are the Steelers really just not that good? When they play a
I
good
don't
team,
think
they
they're
look,
very good,
yeah.
especially offensively. I think their defense is pretty good overall, but you can only ask your defense to do so much.
Hmm.
And I think they've been asked to do way too much. Um, and at times this year, they haven't looked very good.
Hmm.
They've been real mediocre. And
Because 2 weeks ago, the
Chargers,
Steelers were 5-2, and the Ravens were 1-5, and they had complete control of the division. All of a sudden, they're essentially tied with the Ravens 2 weeks later, and look like they might lose the lead in the division. Then eventually won't make the playoffs. So it's looking like.
yeah. Well, the Steelers
So.
D played plenty well enough. 5 sacks, 11 tackles for loss, but they got no help on offense.
Mhm.
And you know, I think that the Ram, the Chargers are explosive on both sides of the ball for the most part. Uh, and Keenan Allen had a catch. It made him the most catches in Chargers history.
I saw that.
So
Yep.
I think that they were playing hard for him.
Hmm.
And I think that they're just rallying together because so much of their offensive line is hurt and they're really kind of banged up, but it's next man up and they're trying to get it done that way. But
What do you think
I
about this
just,
kid? This kid Vidal, who's taking over from Marion
yeah, I was gonna
Hampton.
say
He
one of the
really
things
was.
they've developed is a running game, especially short yardage. He's a very athletic, strong, pounding running back.
Hmm.
He for me he's a goal line kind of guy,
Hmm. I agree.
and he's perfect for Harbaugh.
Chargers moved to 7-3. They are actually one game behind the Broncos right now, and amazingly, the Kansas City Chiefs are in third place in that division, which they're not used to that. Kind of at the bottom, looking up. So
Who would you
that
say
may,
is the better team, the Chargers or the Broncos?
right now, probably the Chargers
Right
because
now,
they
I
can
think the
actually
Chargers
score.
are.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
can actually score.
I think they're a little more well-rounded and balanced. So,
Broncos have a little
in
bit better defense, but Chargers have a very good defense. So
right,
um, I don't
right.
know. So this
I
game
think
was,
overall the Chargers have a better overall team,
I
even
think
though
so.
I'd rather have the Broncos defense.
So this game was a complete stinker. Monday Night Football. You have everyone watching. They actually had very high attendance and ratings in the first quarter, and then people started falling asleep all over the country because it was 0-0 at half. Both defenses completely dominating and clamping down. And then it ends up in a 10-7 victory for the Eagles. And I don't know what you say about these two offenses and what you do to get them going, but they've both been kind of declining as the season has gone on.
Well, the Eagles are not healthy without Saquon being, a monster. Um,
Hmm.
I think their offensive line's getting a little old and banged up. I think Hurts is overpaid and overrated. I think they have their best offensive weapon is Brown, AJ Brown, and they're not using him properly.
Hmm.
Um,
And he's disgruntled too, so that
sorry,
doesn't help.
their second best weapon after Saquon. Um,
Hmm.
he's disgruntled. He's probably not running routes as hard as he should on every play. Um, he's unhappy, and that shows up in your execution.
Do you know there was one explosive play in this whole game? One, and it was the throw to Devontae Smith.
Yeah,
So
that was awesome.
again, where are the chunk plays for these types of teams that think that they're Super Bowl contenders? There's no chunk plays.
I told
There's no
a
explosive
guy
plays.
a guy I work with that I thought the Eagles were going to win because um, the uh, Green Bay doesn't have their tight end,
Hmm.
and so it seems to me like Jordan Love is getting a little bit overhyped. There was a
Hmm.
lot of conversation about the Packers being Super Bowl kind of contenders,
Hmm.
and I think that sometimes we get carried away with a little bit of success. We start to extrapolate it out to be a lot of success. I think Jordan Love's a little overrated. I think he's decent,
Hmm.
but I don't think he's quite ready for that level of competition. Um, and I think that they're banged up at the wide receiver position, and it's really
Hmm.
showing. His ability to spread the ball around is limited, and so it's going to hurt their running game overall.
I agree.
And their defense did its job holding Philly to 10 points.
Do you think the Eagles are a Super Bowl contender for a repeat this year?
Well, no, because I think that the NFC is harder than the AFC right now, at least.
Hmm.
And the Eagles are going to have to go through too many good teams.
I agree with you. I agree with you. I think they're good, but I think they're one rung below the top 3 or 4 teams in the NFC.
I
That's the
mean,
way I
who
look
do you
at
think would win? The Packers? I mean, the Eagles or the Rams?
it. Rams.
Me too. Who do you think would
Rams are the
win? The Eagles or the Bucks?
Lion. How about the Lions? I think
Well,
it'd be
I'm
the
getting to them.
Lions.
I'm getting to them.
Bucks. I think Bucks. Yeah, I think the Bucks would beat the Eagles. I do.
I think it would be a toss-up. I think if you played them
Hmm.
5 times, it'd be 2-2, and you'd be going into game 5. I don't know, but um, and then what about the Lions?
Lions for sure.
Lions. So
Hmm.
I don't think there's an easy path for the Eagles to get back to the Super Bowl
I
because I
agree.
think the NFC is tough this year.
100% agree.
And then there's some scary teams like the Packers and the Vikings and other teams like that
Hmm.
that could easily beat anybody on a given week.
That's right. Well, let's look at the fantasy football wrap up. Davis Mills comes in as your top quarterback. I mean, if you told me a week ago that'd be true, I wouldn't believe you. Jackson
That's
Dart had a
crazy.
really nice game before he had his
Yeah.
fourth concussion of the year. Matt Stafford continues to play at an MVP level. Jared Goff played great. Daniel Jones, Brissett, Josh Allen, Gabriel, and Mac Jones. So that's your top 9.
I have
Any
a
surprise?
pretty nice dilemma there because I'm pulling guards. That's my fantasy team.
I saw that. Yeah.
Stafford and Goff. Who do you start? You know.
How'd you get both of these guys?
Well,
Oh, man.
Goff was my starter, and then I picked up Stafford as a backup. Couldn't
Hmm.
believe he was still available, but
I just plugged Josh Allen in, and I just hope he has a good game. So
poor
anyway, any
Brock has
surprises
Jacoby
here other
Brissett.
than I know
I'd say
any?
Jacoby Brissett's a surprise.
He's a good fantasy quarterback.
Yeah,
He's
I
not bad.
mean,
Any
Dylan
surprises here
Gabriel's a
other than
surprise.
Davis Mills? Anybody surprise you?
Well, yeah, Dylan Gabriel, Mac Jones, those are surprises.
Yeah, yeah, agreed. Especially in losing efforts. So Jonathan
Yeah,
Taylor's our leader on the running back side, 53 points. I mean, if you have him this year, you're just going to be racking up a
MVP of the
lot of
league.
wins.
MVP.
Yeah. Shane gets 43. Jameer Gibbs 41. Travion Henderson, his best game as a pro. Kyron Williams, Josh Jacobs, Brees Hall, Vidal, and Algier for Atlanta.
Obviously, I'm happy to have a Shane also.
Oh my God, is he
Oh,
playing well?
yeah.
Yeah,
We're finally running the ball, the Dolphins, and
I picked up Vidal 2 weeks ago off waivers. I couldn't believe he was still there,
yeah,
and
that
I
was a
saw
good
that
pick.
he was going to be getting all the carries. So I said, I'm just going to pick him up.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Good pickup.
yep. So the wide receivers this week, Nico Collins comes out on top with that great fourth quarter. Drake London, we talked about. Jamison Williams, Egbuka is
Hmm.
back and healthy again. Naylor has been having a really nice couple weeks for Minnesota. He's their third receiver.
Yeah.
This kid, Parker Washington, came out of nowhere this week for Jacksonville. He's actually on my roster. Chris Olave, Lad McConkey, and Roma Dunze. So a lot of great receivers this year. Pretty fun to watch.
Absolutely.
Look at our power rankings. Rams number 1. By the way, this is from a simulator that was run by NFL.com. And this shows after week 10 what ranking they give each of these teams and what their Super Bowl odds are. So right now, the LA Rams are ranked number 1 in the NFL with a Super Bowl odds of plus 700. So you got Rams 1, Eagles 2, Seattle 3, Indianapolis 4. Any problems with any of these? You think they're too high, too low?
I mean, the Lions not being in there is insane, but um,
I think Eagles are way
I think
too high. I
I
don't
think
believe it.
Seahawks should be lower, Eagles should be lower.
Who
You
do you
know,
think would win, Eagles or Seahawks? Who do you think would win in that game? Neutral site.
um, probably the Eagles because they would probably run Saquon enough,
I think
but
Seattle. Seattle's a better team right now.
Seattle looks hotter.
Hmm. Eagles can't score. It's like
I
four
know,
weeks in a row they can't score.
but can they or are they? Is their game plan trash and they're not using Saquon properly?
I don't know. I
And they
mean
can
that's
figure that
been,
out anytime they want.
it's fine to say that a couple weeks in a row, but when it's 10 straight weeks of it, it's a trend now.
Well,
Like
it's not 10 straight weeks. I mean, they're 7-2.
I mean Saquon is having a completely abysmal year and he's
I
healthy.
know, I
So
know,
and
but
AJ Brown's not having the year you expect. Jalen Hurts is not having the year you
I
expect.
know,
They're winning on
I agree.
defense. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And they're actually not that good
So
against the
on
run.
this list, I put the Eagles not even in the top 5. Really, that's just how I feel about it. Let's look at number 5. That's Detroit Lions. That's your team. New England Patriots at 6.
Yeah,
Bucks at 7, and Broncos at 8. So any of these guys you think too high, too low?
I think all the top teams are NFC, but I like the AFC teams here. Yes.
I think the Colts are up there. I'm not sure they're 4, but they're you know Colts have a couple flaws, and they've shown it the last couple weeks. Um,
Yeah.
I like the Patriots that high. I think they're going to win that division.
Yep.
Bucks at 7. Okay. Broncos have the Philadelphia Eagle problem, but I think it's even worse than the Eagles in
It's
that their
worse.
offense is broken.
You know
So
how it's worse is that their defense is better than the Eagles, and they're barely winning some of these
I'm
games.
not in
So
any
that's a
situation. I'm not in any situation putting the Broncos above the Chiefs until they can prove to me they can beat them. So it's just not going to
mm,
happen. 9
agree.
is the Chargers. 10 is the Packers. I just don't agree. I think the Packers have proven that they have some real problems this year.
I think
Um,
those Packers, Bills, and Niners all have some problems, but could get hot.
yeah, that's
So I
right.
put them all in the same category, just like right there.
So Bills are 11, 49ers are 12. Any
Yeah,
problems with any of these?
not really.
I think Packers are a little bit too high. I was very high on them, and actually, they were my kind of dark horse Super Bowl pick this year. But after watching them the last couple of weeks, and I think they're so banged up, and they have some significant players out, especially Kraft. I think that I
Oh
don't
yeah,
see it. I think they're a one and
Tucker
done in the
Craft being
playoffs.
out is huge. That's a huge problem.
I think they're a one and done in the playoffs. That's how I see the Green
Probably.
Bay Packers.
I
Yeah.
agree. Without Kraft, I don't think Packers weren't winning the Super Bowl with Kraft. Without him, they, I mean, they're just not gonna be making that much noise.
13 is Chiefs. Their whole season really is the next 2 weeks. We're going to find out if they're going to make the playoffs or not. They're in really dangerous position now. They've got coming up Denver and the Colts. So if they find a way to win those 2 games, they'll be sitting at 7-4, and no one's going to bet against them. But if they lose both or if they split, they're kind of in trouble, and they may not make the playoffs.
I
So
think the Chiefs should go higher. I
Why
think they
why
should.
their Super Bowl odds are at plus 600, the best in the league? I still don't get that because they got a really hard schedule coming up, and I got to see them win these 2 games, and I'll feel a
I
lot
think the
better about it.
Chiefs are better than the Bills.
Might be. Well, the
I
Bills
know they
just beat
just
them.
lo No, I know
Yeah.
that, but I'm saying I just think they're a better team. I'm not saying that I take anything away from the Bills just beating them a couple weeks
I
ago, but
think the Chiefs are better than 13. I will never understand why the Broncos are rated
yeah,
above them. I think they're better than 13. Got the Bears at 14. I think that's a little high. I know they're
It's too
six and
high.
three, but I don't see them as
Yeah.
the 14th best team. Got the Steelers really plunged this week. Everyone saw a team that really is also kind of broken on offense. So their Super Bowl odds really plummeted, and they got down to number 15 now. The Ravens have taken the biggest step up of any team after their big victory. They're up to 16 now. I think you'll see them and the Chiefs keep moving up every week. You'll see them both rise quite a bit. Any concerns with any of these four?
Not really. I like the Ravens moving up. I think that they're in a bad division. They play a lot better with Lamar in there, and when Lamar's in there, they run the ball well with Henry, and that
Mm-hmm.
keeps their defense fresh and off the field, so their defense looks a little better. It
Mm-hmm.
affects the whole team. So I think that Ravens have experience and they're winning and they're in a bad division. So that's a dangerous combo.
Mm-hmm. That's true. 100% agree. So last couple teams here, Houston Texans 17. They have a very inconsistent offense. They did have this huge comeback this week, but one of the reasons I think that they're a flawed team is they have a good defense and a very inconsistent offense. I think they're kind of a one and
Yeah.
done type playoff team if they make the playoffs. They're not going to win their
I don't
division.
love their
So.
running game. I saw Nick Chubb running pretty nicely this week, but he's been
Texans are the
ineffective
kind of
this year.
team. They're the kind of team that needs to win their division, and they're not going to win their division this year.
Yeah.
So I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. Panthers at 18. They dropped a little bit from 16 after their loss. Jacksonville Jaguars keep plummeting. They've been plummeting 5 weeks in a row. They had this great start. Now they're down to 5-4, and found a way to choke away this game. It was really incredible.
Yeah.
Vikings at 20 because they have also a broken offense and are losing games they really should be winning in the dome. And they're in a very tough division. So they've plummeted down to 20. Dallas Cowboys at 21. Dolphins have risen to 22. Cardinals 23. Falcons 24. So any
Yeah.
problems with any of these?
Not really. I think that the Dolphins and the Falcons can be a nightmare sometimes as an opponent, even though
Mm-hmm.
generally they have a lot of losses. They
Mm-hmm.
can play out of their minds on a
I think
given week.
Panthers are in that category too. When they go beat a Dallas or go beat,
Yeah.
they're kind of one of those teams when they get the running game going, they can beat anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Commanders at 25. You got Bengals 26, Giants 27, and Jets 28.
Yeah.
All the really bad teams.
They're
Yeah, at the bottom here.
high draft picks are headed their way.
You have bad teams and you have really bad teams here. Saints, Raiders, Browns, and Titans. Have you ever seen so many stinky teams in the
They're
NFL?
they're bad cultures.
There's like 10 to 12 really bad teams this year.
Yeah.
Like really bad.
They're bad cultures.
Yeah, that's right. Some of them because of injury, I'll give them that. And some because they just are bad franchises. So, guys, drop us a comment what you think of these power rankings, if you agree with them.
Mm.
Let's take 2 minutes to talk about this gambling scandal, Robbie. This is Guardians pitchers Emmanuel Class and Luis Ortiz were indicted for allegedly rigging pitches in MLB betting scheme. Apparently, they've got text messages and they've got a show of millions of dollars of bets coming in during the game and live betting on pitches. And all of a sudden, both of these guys start throwing it in the dirt on every pitch. And it was just very suspicious the way it was coming down. And then they ended up getting kickbacks from it. You can see some of the charges. There was 50 something charges against these two guys, all the different transactions that they caught them on, and them throwing it really fast and throwing it slow in the dirt, and then finding a way to give up a walk when they shouldn't have. And what is your thought about this? And is this a situation where it started with the NBA, went to baseball, and then now it's going to go to the NFL?
I think unfortunately this is going to happen from time to time. Uh, where people are going to get greedy and lose their minds and do dumb stuff. Some of this is they're under pressure from the mafia, um, who are getting them in trouble with
Hmm.
gambling, getting them 100,000, 200,000 in debt to them, and then they owe them, and then they threaten that they're going to take out their whole family if they don't, whatever. And I don't know. It seems to me like this goes in waves, and this is a bad wave for sports right now. They have to
Hmm.
protect the integrity of the sports, and so they got to go after all these people and nail every single one of them.
But Rob, these guys make so much more money in their contracts than they make. I mean, they're making $10,000 off some of this stuff. It's like a drop in the bucket
I
compared to what
know.
they make. This guy makes 23 million a year.
I
And
guess it's an
what do you do?
excitement thing. I don't know.
No, I just don't get it. You talked about how the mob is good at that, where they'll get somebody in trouble and then
Yeah.
they get you where you owe them, and then all of a sudden you have to do favors for them.
Yeah, there's a
So,
team between like the Shylocks, the bookies.
hmm.
They want to get athletes in trouble
Hmm.
to them for money, for big money that they can't pay.
Right.
And then they got you. And then they say you're going to
That's right.
fumble 3 times this weekend, and then all your debts go away and you're good to go.
Or in the third inning, we want you to throw 10 pitches in the dirt, and then you'll get your payment. That kind of thing.
Right. Or
Yeah.
no, then you get to walk away free and you'll never hear from us again.
So Ortiz has denied the allegations against him, and he said he has never and would never improperly influence a game, not for anyone and not for anything. So that's what his lawyer said. So he
And
denied
you
it.
know what? Let's benefit of the doubt. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what
Yeah. I
the
mean,
evidence is.
yeah. I mean, he has, presumption of innocence, of course.
Yeah, it's not just
Um,
words, like it's real, like
yeah. Yeah. That's
there's
what
a
he
real
says.
innocence that I don't
Mhm.
know if he did anything wrong. I do know that how this operates, and so it's going to suck in good people are going to get sucked into the force field of
Mhm.
pressure. And
That's right.
I hope, I hope and pray that it doesn't happen to any of these guys, but
So
some
he
of them are
denied
going to
it.
get sucked in.
So he denied it completely. But what was interesting, Emmanuel Class, his lawyer, had a very ambiguous statement. He said he's devoted his life to baseball and doing everything in his power to help the team win. But he didn't really deny the charges directly. So
Mm.
I don't know. It's interesting what's going to happen here. The FBI apparently is readying several charges against NFL players now. And so I think that it's just a matter of time. In the next week or two, you'll see some NFL players get charged as well. And now we've got a
You have
full
to do it.
blown
You
problem.
have to make examples of these people. It's
Hmm.
just like with steroids, and you take the
Hmm.
black mark on your name in the sport, and you just fix it, you know,
If you're going to have legalized gambling, which the people want, and one of the reasons they watch games, then you've got to police it really intensely. And that's what they're
really
trying to
tightly. Yeah.
do. Yeah. So MLB and sports books have agreed now to a nationwide limit on any pitch bets. So they've basically gotten rid of all of these types of bets, which I think is a good start. Try to get rid of some of the prop bets that are so tempting
Yeah.
to try to get rid of some of the problems. So let's talk about our subscriber challenge of the night. Here it is. Robbie, best team in the NFC. I have a
The
feeling I know
Lions.
what you. Yeah, Lions.
Yeah. It's not a mystery.
I'm going to say LA Rams. I think they're the best team right now, and I'm going to
Mhm.
say Seahawks second. I really think the Seahawks are very impressive. And what's really cool for all of us football fans is this weekend they play each other. So that's going to be a
Mhm.
great game, Rams versus
Yeah.
Seahawks.
I'm excited about it.
I am too. I like Eagles and Bucks, but I just don't think they're in the same class as those top three.
I think
So
when the
guys,
Eagles get going, they're doing the tush push and they're pounding it down your throat with Saquon. They're very dangerous.
they are. They are, but I
So
just don't think they score enough points right now to be able to keep up with these other guys.
I think that they don't because they're not using Saquon properly, but I think they can figure that out pretty easily. When they go in their final stretch, Saquon's going to be getting the ball and they're going to look different.
Right. Guys, drop us a comment who you think is the best team in the NFC. So last question for the night, best team in the AFC. You got Patriots, Bills, Chiefs, Broncos, Chargers, Colts, or Ravens. There's 7 there, or it could be somebody else. What do you think, Robbie? It's kind of
It's
harder,
definitely
right? Because NFC is
it's a
deeper.
weaker field. It's a weaker field. So I'm gonna say it's either I think it's either the Colts or the Patriots.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. I think with Jonathan Taylor running the way he is, and
Yeah,
with Drake May and Vrabel, especially Vrabel,
yeah.
he's
Vrabel
having
and
a
Mays together.
legendary first season as a coach right now.
Yeah.
Um,
Third, I would say Kansas City.
yeah, I'm gonna say the Patriots right now, and Colts second. I agree with that, and I think Kansas City third. And I think in about 5 weeks we'll probably be saying Kansas City. It's just how it is. They kind of rise to
Probably.
the top. Yeah.
Yeah.
So guys, drop us a comment who you think is the best team in the AFC. All right, Robbie. Well, another week, man. We're going into week 11. We talked about all the power rankings for all these teams. Cream is rising to the top. You got about 12 teams that are really bad at the bottom, and you got about 6 or 7 teams that probably can win the Super Bowl. That's the way I look at it.
I agree. There's a certain number that can win it most likely. But teams can get hot too. The other thing that's interesting is fantasy football is getting really interesting out there. I hope everybody's leagues that is listening, uh, that your leagues are as competitive as ours. We have 7 people tied for first.
Mm-hmm.
7 out of 12 are tied for first. That's pretty
Incredible.
exciting.
It
Yeah.
is. And your
So
boys are right in there, which is really cool to see.
yeah, I love
Mm-hmm.
it.
But like you got those 7 at the top that could win the Super Bowl, in my opinion. You got the 12 at the bottom that are really bad. They're going to be the top picks. And you have like these 15 teams in the middle that are kind of the 8 and 9, 9 and 8,
Yeah.
7 and
Like
10.
Like the Bucks. What are the Bucks? I don't know. I mean,
I
it
mean,
depends on the week.
or like the Panthers. Panthers are probably going to be like 8 and 9. That
Yeah.
kind of team where they could beat you. They have the ability to do it, but they're not really going anywhere. So that's the way I look at the league right now. Anything else you're looking forward to this week as we close it out?
Not too much. Just want to keep watching the trends and seeing who's going to get hot. This is the time where there might be a team that gets hot out of nowhere that hasn't looked great to this point, and you would never
Mm-hmm.
have guessed. Like the the Giants were like that the year they beat the
Mm-hmm.
Patriots.
I
They
remember
were
that.
real mediocre for a lot of the season,
Mm-hmm.
super middling, and they took off at the end of the season. Their
I don't see
defenses
who
went
that could be
wild.
right now. I don't see how that could be right now.
You never
Maybe the
know. It could
Ravens.
be the
Right?
could be the Rams, could be the Ravens,
Maybe the Ravens.
uh
Mhm.
yeah,
Chiefs.
could
Maybe.
be the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of sputter there in the middle.
Do you
So
think the Dolphins could rattle off 4 in a row?
nah,
Okay.
I don't think their defense
Yeah.
is strong enough. I would love it, but
Yeah. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining this week. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. Got a lot of great content coming your way. We're excited about it. And what a football season it's been. And we got a couple more weeks left. And then we'll be getting into the
yeah.
playoff preview. So be looking for all that for us.
Thanks for joining us and keep watching all this great stuff and leave us some comments.
Yep, we really look forward to those. We'll read them on the air next time. Guys, we will see you next time on the Sports Guys. Have a great one. Bye bye.
See you.